Perfect timing. Perfect timing, I just said.
You said what?
Said perfect timing. I just started it.
Always.
Just started it. Got tired of waiting. It's like, I'll just do it.
You know,
What's up, Austin White? Caleb Betts
¿Qué
from
pasó?
Martinez 41, California. Hello, sir. What's up, Dennis? What
Nice.
were we going to say? What were we going to say? Charles Smith is here. Welcome, Charles.
Hey, hey, Brother Smith, how are you?
Yeah, yeah.
I froze up for a second, so I was wondering if I was going to work. If I was going to be what?
Nothing. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad. How was your trip?
Glad to be here. Man, it was awesome. Okay, brothers, I am going to tell you that our summit is going to be so badass. Oh, did I say that out loud? Yes, I did because it is. I just I spent the afternoon with Bo Lindley and Tom Wimberly from Corpus Christi, and if I hadn't mentioned this before, Tom is the person responsible for getting the USS Lexington to Corpus in the first place, and he's on the board of directors and as well as many other boards that that he'll tell you about for sure. Um, but this man has stepped up the game for Masonic improvement. So, brothers, I'm going to tell you that he's our first donor for our silent auction, and if you don't come and be a part of this summit, you are going to miss out.
Yep,
For
absolutely.
real.
Absolutely.
For real.
We got William. I'm not sure which William. Maybe William Batters. It says long time no see. So glad to have you. Austin White says he saw the schedule for the San Antonio Scottish Rider Reunion and it looks action packed. And Dan Best is here. He says hello. Okay, what is going on? There we
Hey, yes, that the Austin blah 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 blah. The San Antonio Scottish Rite reunion coming up. It's 2 Saturdays. It is going to be awesome, and we are introducing a few things this time that is going to be particularly cool. That I'm going to I'm going to do some recording while I'm there for Masonic Improvement, and then Justin and I are going to do a round table
go. Yep.
live at the end of the second weekend, so that you can get to know the members of the education committee, as well as Justin's going to have some questions for us on behalf of all the non-members out there that we can answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, for them to answer, because
Yeah.
you already hear it from me, so I'll let you get a fresh perspective from these guys,
Nice.
because they're really some of the brightest men that I know. Really.
Very cool. Well, I went Monday to a local lodge, and I had promised some of the members because the lodge has been struggling. I promised some of the members that I would come and start helping out, and possibly even affiliate temporarily. So I told them I'd affiliate for a year to help him get back on his feet. And man, I went to the lodge, and I knew it was in bad shape, but when I went Monday to the stadium meeting, I went with a different mentality. Right, I was looking a little more closely at things because now it's gonna be my problem for a year.
Evaluating
Evaluating
right.
it, and man,
Yes.
I regret committing myself, but I said I would, so I'm going to. But man, it is a mess. And then Tuesday, apparently, they had a fellowcraft degree. And they asked me if I would
At the
come.
same lodge.
Same lodge. And I'd already told my wife I wasn't going to go out more than I had to this week. And I didn't know beforehand about it. So I just, like, hey, I can't go. Y'all don't really communicate it very well. And but I know some people that went, and it was terrible, from what I'm told. The senior deacon was walking around, laughing, making jokes.
Oh no,
Nobody,
that's not okay.
nobody. The worship master conferred it, but he never practiced before. One brother actually, at the appropriate time, he just got up and left. Old timer. He's like, I just can't stand any more of it. And it's just what's frustrating is as the district instructor, and it was in my district. They had reached out to me and asked me if I would help, and we were setting up dates. And then I got a message saying, "Hey, we decided to go a different direction," and so they decided they were going to get people from like other lodges, like outside the district, to come help with the degree and stuff. And I was like, "Well, I mean, that's fine, but I was a little annoyed, but it's fine." And it's just a mess. It's a mess.
And then when that happens, that's just disappointing.
It looks bad.
That's when you have to go in and say, okay, this isn't going to happen anymore. It's not okay.
Yeah.
We have to set up study nights, practice nights, so that we can get this stuff down, because this person is only going to go through this one time, ever.
One time ever. Yep.
Ever.
And the guy's dad was there.
Their first time.
The guy's dad was there.
Oh my gosh. That is embarrassing.
I mean,
for even me. That makes me upset.
If you care that little about the degree and the ritual, just turn in your charter and start a Lions Club or something.
Right. The degrees are no joking matter. We can have fun and fellowship and stuff like that, but at practice, have all the fun you want to have. Laugh, joke, make fun of each other, poke at each other to make yourself better. Don't get ugly about it, but poke at each other just to sharpen each other. Yep. But when it comes to degree time, it's a serious occasion, and you only have one opportunity to give this man the best degree he's ever had.
Yeah, you only get one of each.
Or ever will have. Yeah.
User popped in. Hallie says, anyone a 33rd degree Mason here? As a matter of fact, yes.
I was visiting with one today.
As a matter of fact, yes. And completely unrelated, James Kirkpatrick is back. Welcome, James.
Hey.
Glad to have you, brother. Good to see you.
Did you bring the tacos?
Yes, I was told there'd be tacos.
Brother Smith and also Brother Kirkpatrick can also, attest to how important it is to get the degrees to the best of the lodge's ability. And if you're cracking up and making jokes during a degree or anything that's unprofessional, in my opinion, is it's just downright disrespectful to the people that are there and to the candidate himself. And if I was a candidate and I had that happen to me, oh my gosh, I probably wouldn't come back.
Probably not. And it's probably good that I wasn't there.
Yeah.
To be frank.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I would have did, but it would I probably would have burned some bridges.
Right.
James Kirkpatrick says, Dennis and Justin, I miss hanging out with you. Miss you too, man. I haven't seen you since January. It's been a while.
It has. Man, time has flown this year.
Yeah. That's probably not a bad thing. But yeah.
Right. But seriously, I really have not been able to stop. Every weekend there's been something going on. In fact, Brother Wimberly asked me to come over for their Community Builder Award this Friday, and it's like, oh man, I'm so booked right now. You've got to tell me at least a month in advance, at least.
Yeah,
and probably more like 4 or 5 months in advance. I've got things booked out for the year already.
I feel like I've done the opposite. Like I've slowed down this year so far.
Oh man,
it's been intentional.
Well, I'm making sure that my Freemasonry doesn't stop.
Yeah. No, it's not about stopping.
I still have
last year was so constant, like especially with officer leadership training and all the lodges I visited. As like I got to pump the brakes a little bit for the well-being and to get that balance back, right? The work family lodge balance you got to have.
Right.
Zachary Smith is here, and he has already gifted a membership. So thank you, Zach. Definitely appreciate you hopping
Man,
in and just being the MVP right off the bat, man.
he is the MVP of Masonic improvement.
Yeah. So anyone that is not a member, if you're interested, just as a refresher, if you click on the green box, the little three dots, and click enable gifts, it will make it available for you to possibly receive. And I strongly suggest you do it because, you get access to all kinds of great content.
You will get the first. Our members knew about the video that we released today, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
When I posted it, but yeah, I released a full video, like the one that was the second half that was released today. I released a full one week and a half ago, ad free.
Well, actually, they were with us.
Oh yeah, a lot of them were with us.
Yeah.
Also.
We're doing that for all of our members.
Yeah.
Y'all are getting the exclusive interviews with us. So after we interview, you're allowed to ask some questions to the people we're interviewing, if there are any, because we cover so much ground.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. Okay, Charles Smith received the membership. Welcome aboard, Charles, and thank you again, Zach.
I was waiting for you to do that. I was wondering why it was taking so long. Oh my gosh.
Got a few. So Jace Kirkpatrick says the degrees are for the candidate and should be respected. Absolutely.
Yes.
We should do everything we can to make it impactful and a positive experience for that candidate. Wholeheartedly agree. So Hallie or Haley, again, I don't know if it's I don't it sounds like a female name, but I can't really tell from the avatar or anything. Can anyone be a Freemason? It's a fraternity, so it's for men, and the requirements vary by state. But
there are some in Texas, in some jurisdictions.
But generally, you have to be 18 or 21, depending on jurisdiction. Have no felonies or anything like that, and then you can start the process. There are certain organizations that claim to be Masonic that allow women to join, so that is a possibility, but I don't know any offhand, and I wouldn't really direct anybody to them.
Yeah, just be careful who you're looking for, because there's several with the United Grand Lodge of England, and they've been doing it for a couple of years now. That they have several female lodges, and there's some in the United States as well, but they're very few and far between still.
Yeah.
I wouldn't not recommend somebody to do it if they go to an all-female lodge. I mean, they're going to get the same kind of camaraderie and experience that we get if they care about it.
Yep. Let's see. Charles Smith. Hold on. I feel like I missed something. Oh, Charles Smith. Degrees should be solemn. I understand if it's one of a unique situation and out of anyone's hands, but yes, we should strive to make it the best experience for the candidate. It should be memorable. Well, this one was memorable from what I'm told, but not for the right reasons. But I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Like what
the only one that
what has been described to me from multiple people is completely unacceptable. And
and you look at why they asked you if you would come and help them out and stuff like that. And you have to think, if they did this in the degree, then how much worse is the opening and closing of the lodge, the seriousness of getting to work and then leaving from work and taking it to the world. How serious are they about all of it?
The opening and
probably why
is acceptable.
It's ritual.
Because I was the one that approved them to be installed and have a pretty high standard. So like there wasn't as many errors in that.
Right.
But for the stated meeting, we received our district deputy, and I guess now this year you have to open in a master's, but you can call down to an EA or fellowcraft, which whatever. If I was district deputy, I would just say master only. But anyway, the worship master.
I believe the same thing.
The worship master insisted on calling down to an EA, which he was not prepared for. That was interesting, but as far as the actual degree, like It's if you're gonna fill in for it, at least have practice. And they didn't even practice. I mean, it was bad from what I told. And it's just unfortunate because this particular individual. Um, so I guess there's a little backstory. This guy, when I visited this lodge not long ago, I brought my dad with me, and this guy came up to my dad. He's like, "Hey, didn't you used to work at such and such town?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." Well, my dad used to be the dare officer in that town, and he was
Nice.
he was this guy's dare officer when he was a kid, and he remembered my dad,
Wow.
and so
That's awesome.
my dad goes there pretty regularly. So there's already kind of a like a connection there, and I mean, this guy's dad came, and so his dad's obviously a Mason, but to see him have an experience like that, that's just it's kind of it's heartbreaking, man, to know that someone you only get one, and that opportunity is gone.
Right. That reminds me of something we were talking about yesterday at the Fan and Memorial Observance. Afterwards, we went to lunch, and yes, this was the actual one that we have every year on the same date that coincides with the reenactment. Grand Lodge is coming next week to do another one for with Grand Lodge, but anyways, we're at the Jalisco Agave, and we were talking about last year, and last year there was a young man that came in, and most worshipful said that this was the only time it ever happened. A young man walked in and said, and he wasn't in any clothes, any regalia, nothing. And he walks in and he says, "Are you the Grand Master of Texas?" And Brad goes, "Why, yes, I am. How did you know that?" And he goes, "Well, I'm an EA. I was just made a." And so now, and here's the moral of my story. It's not that Brad's so popular. I mean, of course, Flat Brad is, but I don't know about,
I think three
most
dimensional
worshipful.
Brad's
But
pretty popular too.
yeah, we love him. We love him in Masonic and Fruit. But which he made himself available for Grand Secretary, just so that you know.
Oh, I was aware.
Um, yeah, I didn't think he did, so I wanted you to know that. But anyways, so long story short, and I know that's difficult for you, but this brother saw his picture in lodge. So when your EA comes in, he doesn't know what he should be remembering and what he shouldn't be. He is all eyes, all ears, very attentive to everything that's happening around him. It's not just a blur. I mean, we feel like it after the garden hose after it's done, right? But when they come in, they're paying close attention. So when you screw it up like that, when you set those expectations for your lodge, what are you really teaching this person? Because he's paying attention more than you realize.
Yeah.
And I really took that message yesterday when we were talking about it, because I didn't even think about that. They really do pay attention to every little detail. I did.
Yeah.
I can tell you the color of the carpet in the lodge, as well as the ante room, the walls,
I couldn't tell you much of anything personally, but everybody's different.
It smelled like cigar smoke in the back of mine, because it used to be used for smoking cigars in the back of our lodge.
Well, we don't do that kind of stuff anymore.
It was a smoking room.
Let's address some of these. So Zach Smith said he texted his local lodge a few times on Facebook and had been leaving him on read. Honestly, Zach, the way you described it when we had our members only Zoom, I'm not surprised. To be frank, unfortunately, I'm not surprised. If there's any others locally within your travel radius that you're comfortable with, I suggest reaching out to them also. Just and then when they finally get back to you, you can say, "Hey, I've already went to the lodge because you didn't reach out to me." So, Hallie says, "Does it involve?" And this has already been answered. So, does it involve worshiping the devil and sacrificing people? I'm new to this, as you can tell. Absolutely not. Not at all. Not at all. There's like James said, it does not involve worshiping the devil or any kind of human sacrifice or anything like that. It's that's far from what Freemasonry is. So But like I said, James Kirkpatrick's already answered that, so hopefully that's helpful. Charles Smith says it's a fraternity that teaches moral lessons to better ourselves. Some lodges focus on community as well. If you have questions, feel free to ask. There are a lot of knowledgeable brothers in here that are happy to help you. Absolutely. Dan Best says, I know I paid attention to every detail when I first got to my local lodge, and it was pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. But that could go for better or worse, right? So, I may not remember much of the lodge whenever from my first year. Granted, that was probably almost like 20 years ago now. But I know if I went into a lodge and it stank and the paint was peeling and the linoleum was coming up and the ceiling was falling in, I remember that. It'd leave an impression for sure.
Yes.
Also, it says that lodges not responding to inquiry need to have their collective heads examined. I agree.
Right, and that's a problem within our fraternity. We're just now getting into the technology that we should have been taking advantage of 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the people that are doing it are let's face it, a lot of times it's the secretaries or whatever, and they don't go and check Facebook, or they don't go check the messenger or whatever like they should. They're using personal email for lodge business, and so they don't get the email that comes from the inquiries and stuff like that, and so it causes a problem.
Having an email system that you don't respond to, or having a Facebook page that you don't communicate to people through, or an Instagram or anything like that, is the equivalent of having like 5 or 6 fishing poles in the river and never checking any of them, right?
Right.
Like, and it's on red, so like you saw the bobber go down, you're like, I'll get the fish later. No, that fish is going.
Yeah.
He's going to take that bait and go somewhere else.
I'm a one pole fisherman, buddy. That's me.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day. I saw a boat with 10 poles sitting up, and I'm thinking, you cannot fit 10 people in your boat. The fish are never biting, unless you're in a school, they're never biting enough to need 10 poles. And if they are in a school, they're going to bite whatever you throw, so it doesn't matter what lure you have.
See, I'm
It's
a
just pointless.
fisherman.
So, oh my gosh. Man, I have floated at 3 o'clock in the morning down a river, pulling up lines with channel cat.
Yeah.
My uncle used to noodle and tell me that's not horrifying for a kid to see a fish that's as big as he is hanging from the tree being.
So if anyone doesn't know what noodling is, these are people that generally don't have all their fingers and toes, and what they do is they'll get
their teeth.
They'll usually get in shoulder high water. Not always. Sometimes it's deeper, but they'll get into deep water, and usually what they do is they feel for holes in the ground underwater with their toes.
I can't do it.
I know. And if they find a hole, they go underwater and put their hand in there and pull out a catfish. Hopefully it's a catfish
that has eaten their arm.
Yes. Sometimes
that's how they.
Sometimes it's a snapping turtle, which is why they lose their fingers. Sometimes in like East Texas, Louisiana, it's worse than a snapping turtle.
Right.
It might be like an alligator or something, and they still do it. Or it might be a snake. Speaking of people that need their heads examined, I can't imagine. I don't get in water if I can't see my feet without water shoes. That's how I am. And so I'm no way going to.
You strike me as that kind of a person. I can't swim with shoes on.
Oh man, I cut my foot open real bad one time in the Brazos. I was stepping on glass, and so ever since then I just always wear shoes, like water shoes.
Right.
But
well, if you're in a river, you probably need to, and there's some places you probably need to. I only use waders when I go wade fishing off the coast. That's just 101. Fishing 101.
Oscar Cordova is here, and
I
Oscar. Believe he has a ticket for the event. I believe he was one of the ticket purchasers.
He sure does.
So
he sure does.
I look forward to seeing you there, Oscar. Charles Smith says, I was initiated 18 years ago next month. I remember every detail like it was yesterday. Yeah, I think I'm probably closer to 17, 18 years too. I was thinking about that the other day. It's like it's getting close. Yeah, it was like 2006, latter part of 2006. So it's probably about 17 years. Um, Getting close to 20.
Yeah, mine was 2009. I'm the baby of the group.
Mm.
But I can tell you, even today, when I confer a degree or when I'm doing senior deacon, no matter what part I'm doing, even if I'm opening and closing, it sounds just like St. John's 51 in McKinney because they did it right. And they all had jackets and ties on. They were all professional. And man, it was like a play. When they did it, they put the emphasis in the right places. They did the I don't want to give away anything with people on, but it was so beautiful the way they did my degrees that I can never forget it, and I can never accept another lodge doing it worse than them.
Yeah.
That they set the standard right off the bat. I mean, they really did.
Austin White says he runs the lodge Facebook page and gets all the notifications. He asks for access once he went to the east. And yeah, I mean, I think there should be one person just dedicated. Like that's
Yes.
your role. Like you handle the email.
You should have
you handle
a
Facebook,
couple or yeah,
and have like one or two other people that like it's not the primary thing, but say something happens unfortunate to this guy, you got one or two other people that can handle it.
you have one person primary to website, one person primary to Facebook, and then they back up each other.
Yeah,
And
that's good too.
and that's the very minimum. That's the best thing you can do.
So James, so this is interesting to me. James Kirkpatrick says David Cussman, First of all, we had two new Templars come through Hillsboro, through I don't remember it was McKinney, I think maybe, wherever the York Craft
Probably
festival was this weekend. It had two more knights come through for Hillsboro, so that's exciting.
Well, McKinney is the
we're getting
best.
we're getting a lot of nice Templar at Hillsboro. We just need a commandery. But he says David Cussman, Grand Master of the Grand Encampment, suggested to him that the Knight Templar pool, which is potential members, is not necessarily Blue Lodge. If a non-Mason is interested in Templary, voila, Blue Lodge can have another Mason.
Well, he's saying that if somebody contacts Templars to be a Templar, then you lead them to the Blue Lodge first to get to make their way to that degree.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think that's what he's saying. Is that what you're saying,
I
James?
had clarification. I hope that's what he's saying because that sounds better than how I read it initially.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Well, and that's the way it used to be for the Shriners. It's
Arlington
odd that
Festival. Okay, I'm sorry, Arlington. I knew it was somewhere in that area.
Yeah, it couldn't have been as good as McKinney, or you would have remembered.
It was. Hey, that's where everybody was. I couldn't be there unfortunately, but that's where all the York Rat happening was this weekend apparently.
I saw that, and that's awesome.
Yeah, James is confirming that's what he's saying. So, yeah.
Oh, it's Demelza's birthday today, so Jason Reichenberg won't be here to harass me. Happy birthday, Demelza. We love you. Thank you for taking Jason's time away from me.
I just want to say, so talking about the York Rite Festival and Commandery and everything, and we talk so much about Scottish Rite. I just want to say, like York Rite in Texas, especially this part of Texas, is really exciting right now. Just I don't know what it is, but there's just such a resurgence of interest, at least from what I'm seeing in Hillsboro. But I know Brother Fluff is doing a lot of good promoting York Rite.
Well, and Charles Smith, he's right there too.
Charles Smith, yeah.
That's what he and his brother have been working on for a long time. So yes.
It's just really exciting to see. I mean, we probably so far already have conferred degrees on 10 or more New York Rite Masons at Hillsboro, and I believe all of them have gone through the commandery now. And considering at one time that Hillsboro was almost dead, and Grandview Chapter and Council was almost dead, and they merged together at Hillsboro, and now just seeing all this excitement, energy, and I know it's not just there. I'm just talking from my experience, but it's just so exciting to see all these new members coming along. But this actually kind of goes to what. Oh yeah, Justin Schultz and Skip. I didn't know Skip was there. That's Skip Smith. I don't want to get him on a show one day if I can. But okay. But I was talking to, and I think a lot about what you say about like the Scottish Rite Dennis. I was talking to a New York Rite guy, and he just wasn't really feeling very enthusiastic about it. And he's like, "What is really the goal of it?" I was like, "Man, we need to." I'm speaking out loud as just my thought process. For my York Rite, we need to really come up with a vision statement for and a goal, because we're growing profusely now. And
There can only be one University of Freemasonry. Sorry, sir, we've already got that.
And I think it needs to be education. We need to have a concentrated effort on education, because we have so many Masons from so many lodges in our district now, and we don't have an MWSA, and so it's beneficial, I think, to have that Masonic education, since we have so many people coming to meet at one time at one place. We also do community things, but not really so much fundraising. We do a lot of charity, but no fundraising, if that makes sense. And so we're still going to do that. It's still going
That's
to
the way it should be.
Yeah, I agree, and it's still going to be a big focus. If we we do things for veterans right now, and things for like around Christmas for kids, like donating gifts and stuff. If we end up getting a commandery, we'll probably pass on the veteran things to the commandery, since I think it just makes sense.
More militarized.
Yeah. And then just focus on education. So that's the goal.
Well, that's what we're working on in San Antonio. Is we're in a I wouldn't say a rebuilding stage, but we're in a oh gosh, how do I say it without hurting people's feelings? We are in a stage of improving education as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say that there's a lot lost in and I just said it, I am a member of chapter council and commandery, and I've been a Christian for all my life. But as a Mason, I would argue that with the chapter council and commandery, you're going through the Judaic history mainly, and the Judaic teachings, whereas in the Scottish Rite, yes, it's in there, but there's also the ability to accept and identify the commonalities with other religions as well. So, and of course, Freemasonry is not about religion; it's about your personal journey and about the grand architect, which is God. Mm-hmm. And so, in my opinion, I think that's just that's why it's a university, because it doesn't contain. You're not contained within one philosophy. You're actually reaching out a little bit more. Which really
I haven't gone through Scottish Rite, so I can't.
Which really ties into the Templars, right? Because the Templars, we've discussed this before. I think that the Templars they transported the pilgrims of the time, and those were people of different religions. They weren't necessarily Christian. Just anybody trying to make safe passage to the Holy Land, that was who they protected, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, they would have those influences of the other religions, and they would be conversing with those people as they travel thousands of miles, don't you think?
Who knows? I mean, yeah, it makes... If you were traveling with someone for thousands of miles, absolutely, you'd converse with them. But but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Did
I
they
almost
were
said
they
it.
silent or what? I don't know. I'll say let's look at the comments here for a second.
Yeah.
James
Go ahead. We're
Kirkpatrick
live. We should.
says, Justin, you are a big part of the resurgence, my friend. And I definitely appreciate that. But I think if it was just me, it could never happen, right? I know how to surround myself with people that kind of make up for my shortcomings. I mean, you mentioned Justin Schultz. Justin Schultz is the equivalent of Dennis Yates at Hillsborough for me. He's the guy that can reach out to people to make things happen, right? And he's just really good at that. He's
Man,
really good at
that's
making connections, just like Dennis is. Dennis is great at making connections. He's great at reaching out. This summit would not happen without Dennis. I mean, I'll be honest. Like Dennis is amazing at this kind of stuff. You got Skip Smith there. Skip Smith. I mean, you can't sit down with Skip Smith and not learn something. So the reason we have
right.
education right now, and the reason
Well,
that
just
it's
like
so
David
interesting.
Rogers too. I mean, golly,
Who?
David Rogers. How
Oh
could
yeah. Oh
anybody?
my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I
you sit
mean,
down,
you
you
sit
have a
down with him,
festival,
and
and you sit down with Skip Smith right here and David Rogers over here, and your mind just melts. I mean, you just learn so much. So we're very blessed. We're very fortunate to have the right combination of people, and I definitely appreciate that. I mean, especially coming from you, that means a lot to me. But I have to give credit where credit is due, because like Justin Schultz is a farmer, and he leaves for months at a time, especially around certain seasons, and it hurts. It hurts because he's the guy that gets things done. Like if Dennis had to leave for a
right.
few months, I mean, Masonic Improvement existed before Dennis came along, but I've come to rely on his strengths to cover my weaknesses quite a bit. So it's all about having a dream team, I think. He
Yeah, you
else,
complete me.
yeah. Let's not get weird. Let's not get weird about it. Dan
That's
Best
why we get things done because we're weird.
Dan Best says he's always been interested in the Shriners, and that's one of the main reasons he wants to be a Freemason. They seem like they do a lot of good in the world. And James Kirkpatrick says he's a Shriner, and they do lots of good works. Plus, they add values to members. And then he goes on to talk about what you were saying as far as like the differences between the rites. He says York Rite is historical in nature, associated with King Solomon's temple. Chapter continues the destruction and rebuilding of the temple, and council is a prequel to the Master Mason. And yeah,
Yes.
I could, yeah. I mean, that's accurate. Commander starts with a continuation and rebuilding of the temple. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I have no York Scottish Rite experience. Like I haven't gone through any of the Scottish Rite, but I
I
would
can't
say
wait until you do.
yeah. I mean, I would say that. I mean, I appreciate the historical nature of the York Rite, and I think it lends itself to probably maybe a different kind of education than like Scottish Rite. Like I'm sure there's room for historical education in Scottish Rite, but it's probably more focused on esoteric. Just like I'm sure there's room for
Right.
esoteric education in York Rite, but
Right.
I think it lends itself naturally more towards historic stuff. Also, I mean, especially like
Right.
looking
It's
like
more
Commandry,
of
like the
a
Knights Templar. That's that's history right there. That's
yes, and
conspiracy
that
history.
journey.
So that's the best kind.
Yeah, and that journey. That's why it appeals to so many. But and really the York Rite has a beautiful festival, and I believe that. I was dumbfounded when I went through, and fortunately I was the candidate for the Order of the Temple, and it was really meaningful for me. And but I think that the way that it's done, you don't see as much of the symbolism like with the Scottish Rite, because the Scottish Rite does it in play form. And so, well, for those who can, we're only doing 22 of the 29 degrees in San Antonio. We're trying to get there like some of our other valleys, but each degree has so much symbolism. You have so much symbolism in just the apron and the sash in most of the Scottish Rite degrees. You have more symbolism there than any one entire degree in the York Rite. So you're sitting here looking at all these symbols and trying to, and then at the end it's all put together as to what it means, and it's like, and so yeah, it's a lot different. It's a lot different. But the York degrees are beautiful. They're more literal, but they're beautiful.
I have a companion, and he had at the time not gone through commandery, and we were putting a big batch. I think it was when we sent 6 or 7 people to Fort Worth for the commandery degrees. And he's like, well, I don't really know. I don't really want to take on anything extra. You know, it's not necessarily cheap. I don't know that I'm really up for it. And I was like, man, you will not regret it. Order of the Temple is fantastic. He's like, well, we'll see. I don't know. And it's one of those things, like, you can't really understand how awesome it is until you do it, right? And he went ahead and he came back and goes, oh my gosh, Commandery's so cool. The degrees are so awesome. It's like, yeah, dude, that's what I've been telling you. So if you're on the fence, like if you haven't gone through Commandery or York Rite in general, do it, man. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, I agree. Just do it. I did that immediately after, well, the following year after being raised. And yeah, it was awesome. And I was lucky enough to have some of the best esoteric brothers, present to do it up in McKinney. And so it was really an impactful set of degrees.
Yeah. James Kirkpatrick says Scottish Rite is philosophical and York Rite is historical, but there's some blend. The two rites meld together perfectly.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yes, they really do. That's a good way to put it, Jimmy.
He also says, Dennis, if you get a chance, try to connect with Andrew Owen of the Baton Rouge Lodge of Perfection. He had a fantastic conversation with him about that, and they're doing some interesting things there. Zach Smith says the closest lodge that shows any sign of life is an hour away. Zach, I'll tell you what you can do. Because
James, will you message me on that, please? Thank you.
The closed lodge is just not being very communicative, if that's a word. If they post their meeting times on Facebook or at the lodge building, just show up a little early and go and introduce yourself that way. Be not aggressive, but be assertive about it, I guess, right? Especially if the closest one other than that's an hour away, right? It's hard to be involved with anything that far, right? So
we have it on our door.
Yeah, most lodges have it posted somewhere or on their Facebook page or something.
We have a phone number on our door too. We have the secretary as well as the building.
Yeah.
The committee chairman of the building committee.
And I'm not. I know I say to do that a lot, but I'm not being hypocritical. Like I haven't done that with a lodge, but when I went to join Rotary, when I was interested in Rotary, I found out when they met and just showed up. It just said, "Hey, I'm interested in joining. Can I listen in or just introduce myself and see about getting a petition?" And I did something similar with Lions Club too. Yeah. I found out when they met and just went and introduced myself. It went from.
You know how I got involved with Rotary?
How's that?
And I don't know why.
I didn't know you're in Rotary.
I don't know why we don't do it. My lawyer, my attorney, he sent me an email and said, "Hey, we have a golf tournament for scholarships. You want to be on my team?" It's like, well, yeah. Twist my arm.
Yeah.
And so, and that sprung up the conversation. And when you're riding on a golf cart with somebody for 4 hours, what's going to happen?
You want to play golf?
Communication.
Oh yeah, that too.
Dude, yeah. Between glasses of scotch, I'll take a swing.
Gotcha.
I'm definitely not going to win any of the holes that I purchased the hole-in-one shots for.
Yeah. Charles Smith says, at worst, call the lodge that is an hour away and see if they can help you get in touch. A lot of lodges in rural areas will visit one another. At least here in Texas, that's where I've seen it. Yeah. Well, you can reach out to that lodge and say, look, I'm interested in joining. You only one locally I can reach out to, or just show up at the lodge on their doorstep, like 15 minutes before their meeting time, and say, hey, I want to come introduce myself and
with a jam box playing.
Don't listen to Dennis. Don't do that. Just show up, dress nice, introduce yourself.
I know you're laughing. I know he's laughing.
Yeah, you're always laughing. I know. Have you listened to the latest episode, by the way, that I released earlier today?
I did. I listened to it on the way to go see Brother Wendy.
It's good stuff. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Like, it's good. Chris Williams.
Yes.
Chris Williams is just great. He's just great. And
what was funny is he immediately texted me because I sent it, and I'm telling you, it was exactly the amount of time of the video that he texted me back. And when I sent it to him, him and Brad are the same way. They're just waiting, right? So I sent it to him, and he immediately texted, this is going to be great, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to you guys when everybody hears about you sipping intoxicating liquors on the beach next to a fire. And I said, well, it's going to happen, so I don't care what anybody thinks.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, what happens in Corpus stays in Corpus.
That's right. When I first
except for the scars.
Corpus, you're right. When I first went down to Corpus, I went down there to work for AT&T, and the manager there said, "Hey, we're on an island here. So whatever you do here, it's between us. We're on an island." And that's exactly right. So when you go to Corpus, you're on an island.
It's true. That's true. Yeah. But no, it's gonna be awesome. And I pinned a link to the event if you need to buy tickets. By the way, for any of you that are here, and the reason the where I'm going with
Brother
this,
Smith, I would love to see if y'all can go. Go ahead.
Yeah, tickets are selling fast. Is my point. And so I've had a lot of people comment they're going to get tickets or they want to be there. My point is you need to get them. That's my point. Because this is not something you want to miss. And if you want to be there, if you want to go, you need to go ahead and get the tickets. Because I can't promise you a month, 2 months, 3 months. And we got a lot of tickets. Or we started with a lot of tickets. But I can't promise you if you wait till last minute there's going to be any. In fact, there probably won't. And we're not selling them at the door. It's through Eventbrite or just it won't happen.
Right. And also, just for reference, the other day we sold like 6 or 7 tickets just from other states.
Yeah, out of state. Yeah, so it's not just Texas. We got a lot of out-of-staters coming. And some of them will be with you'll have to listen to our next episode, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's already recorded. But man, I mean, it's just like y'all don't know because y'all didn't hear the most recent episode. Well, most of y'all, like some of you were there.
Some of y'all
some
did.
of you were there.
Some of y'all did.
But like it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be off the chain, man. Just knowing these two.
Yeah.
Charles Smith says he would love to. It's the week after his wife and son's birthday, so he's usually booked up that month. Yeah, I understand.
Take them to the beach, man.
Yeah, take them to Corpus. Take them to the beach. Have them reschedule the birthdays.
That's right.
More convenient
That's
time. No. But
my wife is working on. There's gonna be a dinner venue for the ladies when we go to the Lexington. Actually, we can walk them to the dinner venue as we're going to the Lexington. And my wife is also looking at special tour rates for the aquarium, which is a block and a half away from the hotel. And then you've got the beach right. Yeah, and then you got the beach right there, and we're gonna have there's rentals right there for everybody to participate in, but we're looking at renting something for the group so that everybody will be able to just take turns when they want to.
Yeah, I went to the aquarium last year with my family, and I think we saw everything, but I feel like we could have spent more time there. But after about 4 hours, we were just like, let's just go because the kids started getting cranky. But it was, just so much there. Like it is probably the nicest aquarium I've been to. I've been to quite a few. Like I've been to the Dallas Fort Worth Zoo, and like they got aquariums there. But this is probably the nicest one I've been to. I haven't been to there's an actual aquarium somewhere in the Metroplex I haven't gone to. But I mean,
Right. I've been to that one in Dallas. Yeah.
oh yeah. So they got all kinds of stuff. My point is, like, if you want to bring your kids or your wife and go check out the aquarium or something, and of course there's great food. You're right on the beach, so there's food all over the place. So it's a good time. It's definitely worth it. It is going to be the highlight of Manning Masons for the year, I think.
Yeah, because it's a bunch of leaders. It's not we're gonna and it's not Justin and I talking. These are other people coming in and talking. We're just facilitating, and so you're gonna get some of the best conversations from the best leaders in Texas and other grand jurisdictions. And
we're talking dignitaries, man.
Yeah.
We're talking.
We got the real deal coming.
I mean, it's gonna be awesome. When I say we got a all-star cast, I mean it. Like the best of Texas, the best of New Mexico, the best of Mexico, the best of Arkansas, best of Louisiana. They won't all necessarily be speaking there, but they will all be there, and it is going to be. Man, I'm just so pumped. I'm so pumped. Buy tickets. I'm just telling you, you don't want to miss this.
Right. This is definitely worth it's a value packed weekend. And truly, we're not looking at making anything on this one. We really want it to be the most fulfilling for our guests as we can. Yeah. That's our goal. We're trying to serve our grand jurisdiction the best that we know how, and that's to have other people talk for us.
I'm trying to serve my fraternity the best I can.
Yes. And that's the truth of it, because we travel through all these other states and further, and so it is more about the fraternity as a whole, the traveling man. Yeah. Because if you're not a traveling man, then you're not a Mason, in my opinion. And you're not really getting everything out of Freemasonry that you could.
And I can't promise anything until September 17th, right? Because we got to get through this first. But in all likelihood, there will be other events. They probably will be eventually out of state, right? So if you're somewhere far away and you just can't make it, there'll probably be one close by at some point. But they'll never be the first one again. This will be the first one, right?
Just like the first degree.
Yeah, yeah. And they'll all be awesome, but there'll never be another first one. And this is. Man, I'm at a loss for words. Like how excited I am about this.
Right. I just can't even think of anything else really, except for the Scottish Rite reunion that's coming up. Mm-hmm. 2 weekends. 22 of the 29 degrees, 2 weekends, 2 Saturdays, not the Friday and Saturday. We're just doing the Saturdays. And we're going to be, not only are we going to be doing these, but we're going to be talking on, all the education members have a presentation that we'll be giving at different meals and before we start and stuff like that. Just giving a little bit more depth to some of the things that one might think about while they're going through the degrees. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have a setup for the white hats to come in, the ones that don't always make it because they're getting up there in age, our mentorship generation. They're coming in to give history on talk about their Masonic journey, and so you're going to have an opportunity to meet some of the brothers who have made Scottish Rite Freemasonry what it is. And I got to tell you, man, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, I had an email pop up. Let's see. Zach Smith asked if there's any plans for members only type Zooms. I was actually thinking about that earlier. I was like, it's time for one. It's time for another one. Wednesday, yes, do we have Wednesday scheduled yet for somebody?
I was gonna call up one of our out of state dignitaries and see if they wanted to jump on Wednesday, but I'll do it for the following Wednesday.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead this Wednesday and
let's plan this Wednesday to be we'll do a members only Zoom like we did 2 weeks ago, and it'll be a good time, Zach. So thanks for asking. You reminded me. I was thinking about it, but I forgot. So we'll make plans, and I see a lot of green names. So we'll do a members only Zoom, and I'll post all the info on YouTube, and I'll link it on Facebook so that you know when it posts. And Zach, I saw that you mentioned that I didn't post it until like kind of the last minute last time. So I'll be sure to post it well ahead of time this time, just be sure everybody is aware of when it's going to take place. Mats is here.
What?
He says,
"Hey, Mats.
If he finds a job not fixed at an office, he'll travel, but his current work is fixed at one place." So yeah, I understand that. Completely understand that.
You traveled a long ways to get here from Sweden, so from Switzerland.
You already get the traveling gal.
Yeah, you're a traveler for sure.
He goes any lodge. He travels the furthest.
Which, by the way, I'll see you tomorrow night at Commandery in San Antonio.
Oh.
Speaking of Commandery, we have our meeting tomorrow night.
Very cool.
Yes, sir. So, what other questions do you brothers have tonight for us?
Yeah, is anything on y'all's mind?
Yeah, because we're talking about some exciting stuff, but I know there's things going on around the state that.
Yeah, I'll say while we're waiting on responses, if you haven't, we got 11 viewers and 8 likes. So, like I always say, if you're enjoying it, definitely appreciate a like, and definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed yet.
Yeah.
But most of y'all appear to be members.
It hits the algorithm.
Yeah, it definitely helps the algorithm. Let's see. Zach Smith, there's one perk about his job. He can pretty much work anywhere he wants as a computer programmer. Yeah, that's
yes.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty awesome. My brother-in-law, he does programming, and he works for a big company, but he's down here in Texas. He just works remotely. I was like, man, that's nice.
Shoot, yeah.
Lubbock Commandery is tomorrow as well. Cool. Charles
Nice.
Smith says, not Charles Smith, James Kirkpatrick, the 64th MWSA meeting tomorrow at Mansfield Lodge. Nice. I went to Mansfield one time. I went there for a, was it Mansfield? I think it was. I went there for a York Rite meeting years ago. And great lodge, great guys there. So it's definitely good. But yeah.
I've been through Mansfield.
You've been through Mansfield?
Yeah, I've never stopped there.
Never stopped there. My dad was a police officer there in the 90s, and it was like, it was nothing, man. It was nothing. It was just a little podunk town out in the middle of nowhere. And
that's when I went through.
Well, it's not that anymore. It is massive now compared to what it was.
Right.
But yeah, it was a good time. But yeah, I don't really have anything going on. I'm going to one of the lodges in my district to work with the officers on Friday night to help them get ready for officer elections and stuff. They're having an issue in that the Marshal Master and Senior Warden are really all in, but they don't really have anybody for the South that really wants to commit or anything lower than that. And so what I was suggesting with them is consider doing a multi-year term if they're willing to do it, and
absolutely,
and give that bottom of the progressive line time to build up, and let the leaders kind of develop and make themselves presented, if that makes sense. And so I was like, just put a past master in the South for a year that doesn't want to advance but is just willing to do it. And hopefully after a year, maybe you'll have some people that really stepped up, and then you could move everybody through and stuff. But there's no rush. I mean, if you got good leadership, don't push them through.
You know, I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking about the lines, and sometimes people don't want to go through the line. And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, you know, if your leadership is not up to par, and it looks like every person that goes into the East is fumbling around and then gets chastised for not knowing what to do, then nobody's going to want to go that route. Yeah. Nobody's going to want to do it. And then they can't effectively teach the people below them how to do a better job because they don't know. So you've got the blind leading the blind. I
Slow
recommend
down.
for anyone, I recommend, yes, for any lodge that is having a tough time, number one, slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Have those meetings, those heart to heart meetings with all the members. Is mainly, of course, the ones that show up, but send a message out to all of them and say we're working on restructuring. We need your help.
Yeah.
The other thing, send a few brothers to officer leadership training. Justin and I aren't in it this year, but it's still got valuable information that will help you with your lodge. And if you start the pattern of doing that, and the lodge should pay for it, it should not be on the dime of the person that's going.
Right.
If you set that
But
pattern,
you should be willing to sacrifice a Saturday.
yeah. And if they're not willing to, then they're not officer leadership material anyways. They shouldn't be in a seat anyways.
Yeah.
That's just hands down. If you're not willing to do what it takes, when I became master of the lodge, I knew there were things that needed to be paid for.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't willing to pay for them, it wasn't going to get done. So when I took that position, I was prepared to handle my business. And if you're not willing to,
you've got to bake officer leadership into the culture of your lodge.
yes, absolutely. It's got to be a priority. Otherwise, you're going to keep floundering around until you're asking other people to come in and be your officer for you and teach you how to run a lodge.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I hate to sound like I'm just talking down to people on this kind of stuff, but I get so riled up over it. And we were one of those lodges too, 5, 6, 7 years ago. We were struggling. We weren't struggling, but we were kind of aimless. And we really weren't growing. We really weren't doing a whole lot. We were just existing. And then we decided, a few of us gave up our gifts as past masters, and we set the trend of sending people from the lodge.
Take care, James. Thank you for hopping in, bud.
Have a good one, James.
Yeah.
I wish you would have jumped in on this.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. I was hoping he would have jumped in.
Oh.
Since he is, talking about 2025.
Yeah. We should make that a point to do that next time or one time.
Yeah.
Charles Smith asked, what time of Masonic event do you dislike going to or like attending? What makes you like or dislike it?
Oh, good question.
Here's the thing, and this is gonna sound crazy. I dislike standing meetings. I enjoy the fellowship before and after. I enjoy most other things. I don't enjoy the business meetings. I don't enjoy them because most lodges don't know how to run a business meeting, and anything longer than an hour for a business meeting is crazy, in my opinion. And I've been to a lot of lodges that are 2.5 hours doing business, and that you're not doing things right. If that is the case, and so like officer leadership training. By the way, Charles Smith says he'll miss his OLT. Wasn't really. It wasn't necessarily up to us, but it's fine. I'm fine with that. And then, but as far as like events, like officer leadership training is great. Masonic Con's great. Festive boards like the Waco Festive Board, that's great. The Masonic Improvement Summit, that's going to building a better brotherhood. That's going to be great. Stuff like that. I love Grand Lodge. I love Grand Lodge. Grand Lodge is fun. I just that don't take that to understand that I don't go and support my lodge during business meetings, because I go and support them. It's just not my favorite part. Degrees are great.
You know what?
All these things are great.
You know what really tickles my fancy? That's and I hate to say it, but it's the things that have sprung up from my membership in Freemasonry. It's really the invitation only bodies
Oh
that I'm a
yeah.
part of
Oh my god.
that
I didn't even think of
that
that.
I really
Yeah.
and the reason
AMD is
why.
fantastic. I love AMD.
Oh, and you don't even have a taste like I do. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not Scottish right.
we we have no our AMD. We have a quick meeting unless we're doing the degree, and we actually confer the full degree on our members as they come in.
Oh, that's good.
That's
Yeah.
that's a must. Yeah, we don't play around and say, oh, you'll get them at AMD day or whatever. We don't do that. We do it right. So,
Nice.
anyways, but on top of that, when we're having just a regular meeting, and we vet the people that we want to come in. So we'll let them come and we'll get a taste for how they act at our dinners and stuff like that before we actually invite them to become a member. And but after our quick meeting, which is usually at the most 30 minutes long, at the most, and that's on a busy meeting day, but it'll be 30 minutes long, and then we go to the Petroleum Club and eat a nice dinner and have a presentation. But
Nice.
the thing I like about it the most is that we're not all like-minded people. And I posted on this the other day after A&B. We really have a lot of good debate and discussion over the topics that are expressed during our dinners. But we are all like-minded in the sense that we're there to sharpen each other and to learn from each other and grow from each other. And everything that's said in our AMD stays in our AMD.
Hmm.
And it's that way with some other um, invitation only bodies that I'm a member of as well.
Yeah.
And when you have those kind of relationships, those are the ones that leak over into your everyday life, that if you've got something going on, you can call that person and they will come and show up. They're your guys. They're your people.
Devin Thomas asks, is it true that Scottish Rite is Freemasonry, but all other appendant bodies, such as York Rite, Shriners, are not? That is not true. It's not true.
Sure they are.
Yeah.
They absolutely are.
They're all in the Freemasonic body.
Yes,
Yeah.
they all have degrees and they all have lessons with what you should be learning in each one of the bodies.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, is a lot of people get into Shriners and they're more interested in the clubs than the lessons, and so that's where the confusion comes in, and then you've got the offspring of different groups within Shrine and stuff, and so a lot of confusion gets put out there from stuff like that. But no, they're absolutely part of Freemasonry.
Oh, Zach Smith says at 11:39 p.m. he got a response. I guess the stream generated good mojo, or maybe they're watching it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, maybe I should go back and check it.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Well, good. I hope.
We have had several people from New York jump on here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully that's the start of something good for you, Zach. That'd be really exciting.
Very cool. That is awesome.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I hope it comes to fruition. Absolutely.
And not only for you, but if they were listening, then they'll probably be a little more attentive to the importance of their position.
So there's a comment on the most recent video. I don't usually do this, but it popped up. It says, why are the Freemasons associated with a controversial group known as the Knights Templar? If I'm not mistaken, Freemasonry was founded by a Templar too. What's controversial about the Knights Templar? Out of curiosity, or am I just oblivious?
The controversy is that people watch movies and they think that they were just a bunch of blood bashing barbarians.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we weren't there. So I don't know how controversial it is. It's always one word against another, because the people that chastised the Templar were actually the ones that asked them to do the job that they were doing.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the controversy. Why would that organization do that? Why would they
Talking to a brother that that I haven't seen in a while. It was actually at that meeting at that lodge I told you to. He's like, "Hey man, I follow you on TikTok." It's like, dude, I haven't posted anything on TikTok in like a month. But anyway, he's like, "How? I don't know how you do it, dude, because you get all these haters and conspiracy theorists in your comment section. Like, I don't know, and your comments are so calm and collected. Like your responses are just smooth. Like you don't get angry." It's like, I've been doing this for a while, dude. Like I'm past the point of getting angry, right? I've been through every stage, like, and I was actually talking to another very well-known social media personality, and
Besides me,
when he first started, we were talking about this, and he felt like he needed to dispel everything and to guide everybody, like if they ask. And then I talked to him not long ago. He's like, "Man, I don't even try anymore. They're all from like some third world countries, and I can't help them, and they just keep asking, and then I get all these nuts, and you can't ever convince them. So what's the point?" It's like, yeah, dude, that's pretty much what I figured out some time ago. Like, there's no conspiracy theorist out there that you'll ever convince that they're in the wrong, right? Because they're zealous, right? They don't have the actual experience that we do to know. They're just zealous. A lot of them are kind of sheep. They're just believe whatever the preacher tells them. And
well, conspiracy theorists typically look for information that backs up their theory, and that's all they're interested in, is all the information that backs up their theory. So it doesn't matter what nut job it comes from. That's what they're pulling from.
Yeah. Devin Thomas says, "I think the York Rite is controversial because you have to profess belief in a certain higher power, and in Scottish Rite you don't, which is along the lines of the first 3 degrees." Maybe in Commandery you have to. Once you get to Commandery, it starts getting pretty overtly Christian, right? But like chapter and council, I mean, you're still talking about like
you're still in the
general
temple
terms, yeah, like a grand architect kind of thing. So it's still general in chapter and council, maybe even AMD, I think. But yeah, once you get into Commandery, it definitely kind of, hey, yeah, this is a Christian organization. And I mean, I don't think it's controversial. I just think if you don't want to be in a Christian organization, don't do it. Or you could join with the understanding that you just agree to protect the Christian faith, not necessarily that you have to be a Christian. Which I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's just kind of a cop out. But either way, I don't think that makes it controversial.
We talked about this in one of our videos recently. It'll come out soon.
Which video? Not the last
one. Did
we talk about the last one?
I think so. Dude, I think we talked a little bit about it. So I'll just say it. So when you're saying that you will protect the Christian faith or what have you, or that you believe that Jesus died for your sins, you know what? You really don't have to be Christian to say that, because Jesus was on the cross, and the last thing that he said was, "That's your cue." Okay, I'm a Christian.
Don't put me on the spot.
Charles Smith knows what was said. "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do."
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Jesus,
I was about to say that.
No matter who you are, Jesus did die on the cross for your sins. Now, most of the Christian religions, say that you have to believe only that, and that there's no other way, or what have you. And you have to profess that. But really, if you don't do that, or if you don't know that that's really what Jesus was saying, if you just believe that, yeah, he factually was there. It's in the history books, not just the Bible. It's in history books. He was there. It happened, and he did, die on the cross for our sins. Whether that was God's vessel or not, Jesus did that for us.
Yeah.
He, in his mind, no matter what, mind and body and spirit, he did that for us. So yeah, he did it for us. So why not defend him? Because he did do that. And it doesn't matter what faith you are, he did it for everybody, not just the ones that professed, because he was talking about the people who hated him.
And
right?
if you don't agree with that, or if you just don't want to,
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, just don't.
My opinion, not the opinion of Grand Lodge or
But I don't really
else.
think that's controversial. Like if you, it's the same thing like any other organization. Like if you don't, like the Shrine's heavily Arabic. So
Arabic,
if you don't like that culture or the religion associated with it, don't join the Shrine. Right? I mean, it's just, I don't know that I don't know if they talk about Allah or anything in either the grades or anything. But if you don't like it, don't do it. Don't join it. Don't put yourself in a situation.
Right.
Zach Smith asks, where is it at? He's got a question. Do you guys discuss memory work? Is this memory work in English? Yeah, it's in English. Very, very old English.
Parts of it are.
Yeah, it's not like thee and thou and stuff, but it's
there's some awkward ways that almost like words are reversed that should be. It's almost like if you're translating from Spanish in some parts.
Yeah, it's like Shakespeare light.
Yes.
Shakespeare light. So there'll be times you'll say something you're like, I have no clue what I just said, right? And you'll have
how I knew Shakespeare was a Mason? Because he held a skull in his hand.
There you go. But for the memory work, like you'll have to memorize it and repeat it back, at least in Texas. And it just the way that the sentence is structured and some of the words, you kind of got to take a deep dive. Like what is this really saying? And some of it just didn't age well. Like some of the terms and things. Like there's a lot of speculation with some people, like on what the verbiage actually means and stuff. But you could.
I love those debates.
Yeah. I think some of it's just
I love
people trying to change things for fun.
Well, see, I'm not a literal person, or I don't like to be a literal person, because the memorization is very literal. You just need to memorize it, right? But I like all the gray that's in between. All that's where I live. I live in muddy waters.
Dan Best says, I'm not Christian, but that's not to say I don't believe in Christian faith. I support all Christians and all relations. Yeah, I mean, I got Masonic buddies that are Muslim, and that's fine.
Right.
That's
Me
fine.
too.
I love the guy. Love him.
Yes.
We've had Jewish brothers on here. That's fine.
Yes.
You do you, man. I got my secretary is Norse, Nordic, like the Nordic gods. I don't care, man.
And that's and so is Brother or Mr. Best.
Oh, okay.
My son is.
Yeah.
And I raised him Christian, but when you become an adult, you decide on what you want to decide.
Yep.
You live how you want to live. So I'm not going to tell him he's wrong.
Devin Thomas says, can you use the Green Book in lodge during practice, or that it be totally kept out of lodges?
Whoa.
Keep them out. Keep it out of the lodge.
Keep it out of lodge.
Yeah, and really, you're not supposed to even have the Green Book until you're a Master Mason. Like,
right. You're not really supposed to talk about it.
There's nothing stopping you from buying it, frankly. Like, you can buy it from anywhere, and if no one knows you got it, no one knows you got it. But you're not supposed to have it until you're a Master Mason, and definitely don't bring it onto the lodge. Just save yourself the trouble. I've heard of lodges almost losing their charters because they're using it in the lodge room. Not in the lodge room, but like the dining room, like in the actual lodge building.
There's a lodge that did lose.
Yeah, so don't do it. And don't put the lodge in that situation.
Yeah.
Zach Smith says, once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead. You'll do fine.
Yes, you will.
You'll do fine.
Right on track.
Let's see.
You know what's interesting is back when I joined, you didn't even have to go uh, online or whatever. Do you remember Border Books?
Border Books?
Yeah,
No. Sounds
Border
familiar.
bookstores. Yeah. Well, it was a chain back then, and you could actually go in and ask for that title, and they would have to tell you where it was because it was, blank cover and all that kind of stuff, and they had it right there in Borders Books, but you never knew it because it was just
Hmm.
little and tucked behind other books, and
If you didn't know what you're looking
that was the
for, yeah.
coolest thing.
I
Yeah, if
prefer
you didn't know.
I prefer the blue book. I prefer
Yes,
the blue
that's the one
book
that I.
because it has the
Yeah.
full form lectures and everything. Read that
Yeah.
well, Justin. So it's been a long time now, but we spent an entire semester studying Romeo and Juliet, and until it made sense, right? And so plus just being a Mason, I guess, just reading strange things all the time. Anyway, it just kind of comes naturally. But yeah, we watched all the movies too, the good and the bad ones. Like we watched the '90s remake of Romeo and Juliet, which was terrible.
Oh
But
yeah,
then we watched like the
absolutely.
'70s or '80s version of it like 3 or 4 times, and it seems like there's another one we
That's the
watched.
one. That's the one they played in high school for me. They
We watched it
played
enough times that I could watch it and know what they're actually talking about, and it took a while,
right.
right? But it's just one of those things that kind of stuck with me. I think.
I think Masons are hopeless romantics at heart. They really
Nah, I'm
are
not a hopeless
because
romantic,
they
but I'm
because
definitely.
well because they love the romance in the story, and that's what we do is tell
I
stories
think we
and
just like
get
the classics. Like I read, like I'm the kind of guy that'll read Plato's Republic for fun, right? I just like stuff like that. I think that's the kind of stuff that should still be taught in school. That's just me. I'm just a science
right.
teacher.
Well, and that stuff should be dug into a little bit more in the lodges as well. If you pay attention to your second degree, then you really should be um, introducing that kind of stuff to your members
Yeah.
and more and more.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's sky's the limit as far as education goes. Oh, well, man, it's almost 11. I got work in the morning. You got anything else you want to add or
Oh,
anything?
and I don't. Okay, and I don't.
I don't know, dude.
I see how
I
you
don't
are.
keep up with your schedule. I'm a teacher. It's pretty much a given when my schedule is. Do you even work?
Sometimes
Sometimes.
in
So
between texts and
yeah.
emails and
So
all the
again,
other stuff I
Zach
keep up
Smith,
with.
I hope that conversation goes well with you from the lodge, and definitely appreciate you gifting that membership. Charles Smith,
Yes,
welcome to the inner circle. Glad to have you, brother.
yes.
And
So glad I've been waiting.
yes,
Golly.
and also if you are thinking about coming to the event, to the Masonic Improvement Summit, pinned link at the top, click it, get your tickets because, like I said, these things, like I'm very pleased with how fast they're going. So, but I want everyone to have the opportunity, especially you guys that are regulars. So if
Yeah,
you,
that's the thing.
I mean, it is what it is, right? So if you're wanting to come, be sure. Yeah, please remember that Zoom. I will post that, probably tomorrow, Tuesday, but no later than Tuesday. So I'll get that posted for sure. All right, you have a great night
Yeah,
too.
they call me Dennis Lates, and yet he's the last one to send the link, and then he's always right after he sends it, he's texting me, "Are you getting on? Are you joining?" It's like, dude, you
Well,
just sent it.
well, dude, you
I
you
haven't
okay?
buffered
Hold
yet.
on, let's pause this. So you messaged me all day, like, hey, are we gonna do this? You gonna post on Facebook? We got it lined up. We ready? We ready? We ready? And then I'm there
That's because I
waiting,
want you
and it's
guys to
like
know
five ten
I want
minutes
all.
after it starts, you finally jump in. So I was like, dude, I think
That's
he's just like
because I want
harassing
our
me.
listeners to know for sure. Because I get texts from some of the secretaries out there, and you know who I'm talking to. Every meeting. The only reason I didn't get a text today is because his wife had a birthday. But otherwise, every time we're on or we're gonna be on, he texts me, "Are you going on? Are you going on?" It's like, yes, we're going on.
My wife always asks, like, who are you cussing at in here? Like when you start, and it's like, I'm waiting on Dennis. And I'm always like, this bleeping guy, where is he? So she's like, who are you cussing at? It's like, don't worry about it.
Oh, and I deserve it. I deserve it. That's so funny. Yeah, they call me Dennis Late.
Yeah.
That's funny, and that's why. Because I don't mean to be. I'm always just a couple minutes late to everything.
Yeah.
I'm always running behind.
Yeah. All right, brothers, everybody. Good talking to y'all. Great time. See y'all later.
Keep it between the points, brothers.
Yeah, do that. All right. Bye.
Be there and be square.
Yeah. Later.
I can't make my fingers square.